sensational, but
everybody to The Hook on Woodward Sports Network, Detroit's all-digital network, live from MyBookie Studios. It is Tuesday, April 13th. I'm Pilar Lastra. To my left, we've got D-Mac. To my right, we've got Tom Mazawey.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Oh, it's her birthday?
It's Claire Mazawey's birthday in Jersey.
Isn't it Coach Campbell's birthday as well?
It's Coach Campbell, yeah.
Wow.
MCDC and Mom.
Wow.
Who would have known?
Happy birthday.
And on Maz's least favorite day of the week.
I know.
And screw TB12. That's what Maz. But it's Mom's birthday. Happy birthday. That's why you're not so disappointed today, Maz.
Correct.
I like it.
All right. Well, happy birthday. We've got Fish behind the fishbowl, Eazy behind the glass, keeping us in line, and Luke handling all of our social media. So make sure that you are hitting us up on social media at Woodward Sports. And guys, make sure that you're checking us out on Twitch. We are expanding our reach, so go show us some love on Twitch. And of course, that you are giving us a call, 313-552-6322. Don't forget, we do have our really fun game that we do play at the end of the first hour here on The Hook. Get home with Hall Financial, some baseball trivia. D-Mac and I have contributed to the first two questions, so hopefully we should easily get you to second base. Easily.
Well, I didn't mail it in. I gave a good one.
You did.
Yeah, I
It
did.
was good.
I mean, not that yours isn't good, Pilar.
Yours is good, too. A little riddle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it took the whole village to figure out how to word it. But, yep, so make sure that you give us a call, 313-552-6322. All right, Maz, let's get to our sports update.
Oh, goodness. I don't even have my goodness. I don't even have my sports update with me.
What?
I
It's
did not
because it's
print my
everybody's
sports update.
birthday?
Hold on.
What? Oh. Here we go.
Thanks,
I mean,
Mac.
this is like the time that you scored that famous goal-winning
The cup clinching goal.
Cup clinching goal.
Hey,
Here
Pilar,
it is.
You'll get to it. I won't come over there and give you the evil eye, but I got Maz's back.
Hey, this doesn't have all my stuff on it, though.
Now he's gonna.
You know what? It's something better than what
this
you
is
had,
Holy
Matt.
cow! Did I? Was
is
that
a-
my wife down there?
This
where
is
it
an
just-
old one.
Do you want it? Do you
That's
want it
an old-
from the phone?
This is hours ago.
I mean, the hours ago. That's because there was a little bit.
You want me to grab it for you?
Somebody
I mean,
needs to.
for real.
That'll be awesome, Fish. Just go in the back.
Is
and,
it on your desk?
Just print page 3.
I mean,
On my thing.
here.
Well, let's.
Here, this is the one from a few hours ago. If you want it.
No, it's okay. I'll just read this.
I was going to say that the difference
I'll
is
go- you want-
vaccination
No,
drama.
that's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll handle it. We'll handle it, Fish. I got it in my head here. By the way, this update, when I finally get it out to you, is brought to you by our good friends at MyBookie. And they have a new promo coming up, so make sure you stay tuned. Use that promo code Woodward, and you will get your free money. Tigers beat the Astros yesterday in Houston 6-3. Casey Mize, the story. He tossed 7 scoreless innings, his first career win, and a rookie sensation, Akil Baddoo, hit home run number 3, a 450-foot tape measure shot off of Zach Greinke. Same two teams tonight, Matthew Boyd and Jake Odorizzi, the matchup from Minute Maid Park at 8:10 tonight. Wings over the Canes again last night. D-Mac, my hat is off to you. 3-1. They sweep.
around, a shot by Ernie, he scores!
That's Ken Cal. Sweeping the 2-game series in Carolina. You heard him. Adam Ernie with the game winner. It turned out to be the 20,000th goal in franchise history. Put that little thing up there. Look at that, Mac. Where's your picture?
Well,
I see Drapes.
Obviously, I'm behind Drapes because I got to support him. So I probably, like you said, like I gave you the assist, like Brady, my boy Brady Leopold noticed what a no-look dish that was to you, and he's still complaining because I didn't put him on his tape, right? You know, that he totally Brett Hold me right there. It's like, you're lucky I'm such a great scorer, is that I can work with this, but it was three months ago, but. I know. Hey, Drapes probably told you himself because we were looking at that picture, and you were actually more upset than I was.
I texted him. I texted him the picture. I'm like, hey, Drapes, where's D-Mac? What's up?
What did he say?
Sorry, I couldn't make the call yesterday, guys. I was driving through the mountains in Seattle, and he's like, D-Mac's right behind me, of course.
Yes, of course.
Right behind him.
Right behind him.
And then he said his snide comment. He's like, can you get him an extra phone, another phone? He makes fun of Mac because Mac's got at least 2 phones that I know of.
That's it, that you know of.
And then you know what he set up? He sent this picture that we did online. Who was your dream foursome?
Yeah.
For golf, and he sent that to me. He's like, "Oh, I found D-Mac.
Was
There
I
he
in there?
is."
Was I in the
yeah,
dream?
you're
was I
in there,
Dream
D-Mac.
Foursome?
They are.
There it is.
You're
I
in the
love
dream
it. There
foursome.
it is.
People
On Woodward
clearly
Sports.
don't know my golfing skills. I mean, I'm no tiger, but I sure as hell am some kind of a tigger.
Yeah.
El
got-
Tigra?
I've got-
El Tigra! A la Corsa.
I've got some putting moves, my friend.
Tell us that in Spanish, young lady, that El Tigra, like you have golf game. Don't underestimate me. How do you say, don't
El
underestimate me,
tigre.
I
it
got
would be
golf
el
game.
tigre.
What is
Well, que yo puedo jugar golf.
Golf is still golf.
Golf is still,
It's still
it's just golf.
It's just golf. Golf. All right, let's move on now. As yesterday, remember the trade deadline. We're going to talk about this. You heard it. How about that Richard Panik, Jacob Vrana comes over, first-round pick and a second-round pick from the Washington Capitals for Anthony Mantha. Eddie Olcyzk, Edzo from NBC, joins us in just a little bit to talk about that.
All right. I haven't heard anybody say this. Am I the one who's going to have to say this? The worst part of this trade is the Wings got a little bit of dick panic in return.
Oh,
so you're going to have to be
are
aware. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing as a Red Wings fan you'd be.
Are they going to break his balls in the locker room? In the dressing room? Yeah.
Exactly. There you go,
wow.
Maz. Welcome to the team. There.
Hey, yesterday, Steve Yzerman, after that trade, Brad Galley and the rest of the media caught up with the captain, now the general manager of the Wings.
We're trying to take steps forward, and we all love to get draft picks and whatnot, and they're important. You need them, but we also need to put a team on the ice, and I think it's important. Our core of our team is still relatively young, and with Dylan Larkin, with Philip Hronek, and now you see the Zadinas and Rasmussens and other players coming along. We want to surround them with players that help them grow and develop as well. So, it's easy. I guess it's an easy thing to do. Just trade out all your good players and get draft picks and all that, but you still got to play. So I think it was important. We looked at some different things, going through the deadline here, and we thought it was a good fit. Like I said, we get a player that goes into our lineup that can play a similar role, and still accomplish what we're trying to do, and that's add to the pipeline, I guess, so to speak. So
the Yzer plan in full effect.
Now, Pilar, were you wondering what happened to his lip there?
No.
Steve Yzerman. Remember he took the slap shot in the face in 2004 in front of the net in Calgary? So as he gets older, you can see more of that scar, and I've never noticed it
He should
more.
go a stash.
Well, he's got, he, like, literally, the injuries that man has said. But the one thing is, when you listen to Steve Yzerman, he will tell you, but it's also, too, the brilliance is he's a huge fan, too. He's not only the smartest guy in the organization, but he watches it as a fan, too, when he tells you this, watching guys. Because one of the things that we didn't hear there, which it's always the plan ahead, is, you remember, we're going to an expansion year, right, with Seattle Kraken coming in. You got to protect your lineup. So there's these, still watching a lot of guys. What this does, the biggest thing for the Red Wings for this is for Michael Rasmussen. And we saw it last night. You saw in the highlight there, he was the one who drove wide, threw it to Ernie for the 20,000th goal for the win yesterday. But with his size, he's got the ability to pick up those minutes and be that next Mantha. So putting the pieces together, but Steve, when he talks, he tells you, great, draft picks are great, but you need players in return.
You got to hit on them, too.
And here's the one thing, right, is there's always a plan, right? The Yzer plan, whatever it is. And I think sitting here today as a Red Wings fan, you need a little bit of a injection of hope, especially when you're not winning, and especially, when it's trying. It's been trying here for 2 years. Even last year, having to sit on the outside and watch and not have the Wings in the playoffs, and for the guys too. So I think as a Red Wings fan, when you see the plan in motion, that you're not just talking about it, you're being about it. And, you can't express a guy like Vrana. You pretty much replaced a as productive guy with the productive guy, and then got a plethora of first, second rounder, and then another viable in Dick Panic there. He's a viable NHL player. So
22 draft picks in the next in the next 2 years, 55 in a 5-year span so far, and counting. So if you hit on a couple of them, a few of them, you did good.
Well, it's like I said yesterday. Go through, and I haven't done it, and I will do, but look at the roster and now see who's Yzerman guys and who's Holland guys. And the more it becomes a Yzerman, this cultured team, the quicker we'll get there.
Pistons Clippers will have a rematch tomorrow, this time from Little Caesars Arena. Pistons blew a 12-point fourth quarter lead the other night, and see if they could hold on this time. Matter of fact, 12 of the next 18 Piston games, that's the end of season, will be at home. So 12 at Little Caesars Arena. How about Steph Curry, my man? He dropped 53 on the Nuggets last night, 116-107 win over Denver. Steph becoming the all-time points leader in Golden State Warriors history. That passes the great Wilt Chamberlain. Where's that picture? There he is. And Steph put this picture up. Him on one side, Wilt on the other, holding up that iconic 100-point game against the New York Knickerbockers. Wilt Chamberlain, 101 game. And, of course, Steph Curry. How many points does Steph have? Easy. Put that back. Never mind. Talking. Never mind.
Don't let her,
He's got a lot of
Don't
points.
worry about interrupting the show.
He got a lot of points.
17,818.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway.
Think about this.
And counting.
Think about this. What year was the 3-point rule put into effect?
I don't know
Roughly.
that.
But did Wilt Chamberlain play in
No.
3-point? No, so
No.
he didn't. So all his were twos and
They were
ones.
twos.
Twos and ones, right?
Yep.
Which is even more
And he wasn't a
impressive.
great foul shooter.
No, that's crazy.
Unbelievable. As we said earlier today, happy 44th birthday to Lions head coach Dan Campbell. Born in 1976, I was marching in the Bicentennial Parade in 8th grade in 1976 for Robert Fulton School, North
Were you
Bergen,
really?
New Jersey. Yeah, I was marching in the 76. I wasn't in a band, but we would just, all the kids were in the parade, and we all had our T-shirts on, our Bicentennial T-shirts on. It was fun time. Anyway, we put out a little birthday card to him on Woodward Sports, so check that out on woodwardsports.com. And the Cardinals go out and sign former Steelers running back James Conner. So he goes to Arizona. I think that's a pretty good signing for them. We take you to this day in sports, April 13th, 1994. It's Pedro Martinez as an expo, a little beanball action against the Reds.
And Reggie's going to go after him. It's the third time. Both benches empty as they try to pull each other apart at the mound. Reggie Sanders, after being brushed back twice on the pitch on the inside part of the plate, gets hit and charges the mound. Martinez turned away and didn't realize the two had words the first time Reggie came to the plate in the second inning.
Well, they both got out there in a hurry, and you can
Like
hardly
a
blame
linebacker.
Reggie Sanders for going out there.
Look at
He
Pedro's
was
hair.
dusted 2 times. It was an 0-2 pitch. Martinez has a 2-0 lead and a gem on his hands, and he's got to go ahead and blow part of that by hitting Sanders. That ball was well inside, and Reggie's going to take issue at it and go right after him. And I'll tell you, between that matchup, I wouldn't want to be Pedro Martinez.
You know what? Hockey fights are exciting, but these are good
Baseballs
fights.
are fun.
Oh man, these are good. They don't
Baseballs
have
are
all
fun.
the paddings. They don't have the
This-
helmets. This is
That's
street
more of a
fighting.
brawl.
Yeah,
Dude,
this is
that's
street
a
fighting.
rugby scrum, right? Where you're just throwing punches on different guys. You're going to get sucker punched in there.
Hey.
A hockey fight's more gentlemanly, man to man,
Gentleman.
pugilistic.
How about the greatest baseball fight ever? And I'll find the cut for you. And I bet you Eazy will find it before the day is up. Nolan Ryan against Robin Ventura. Nolan Ryan throws at Robin Ventura, who decides to run out after Nolan Ryan, who's twice his size.
Wait, and twice as old.
And twice as old. And Nolan Ryan just pummeled him. We'll show you that
Well,
before the night's up.
Here's the thing we learned about Nolan Ryan. Not only is why he throws a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, but he has old man strength. Now, you do not want to mess with old man strength. Me, officially, 49, in my 50th year, I have old man strength. So it doesn't look good, but that's like you know, Nolan Ryan and Dale Earnhardt Sr. are the two guys like that remind me of just stoic guys you don't want to mess with.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Totally good one. And NFL informing clubs. Ready for this one? We'll talk about this on the show. They put out a memo today. The NFL told any team employee that refuses a COVID vaccination without a bona fide medical or religious ground will be barred from the facility and directly working with players. This is not for players. This is for people that work in the organization and coaches. So if you refuse a COVID vaccination in the NFL, and we're going to talk about this coming up, you cannot deal with the players. Kind of odd, very odd. And, we'll show you the memo later. We'll show you a whole bunch of stuff. There's a lot going on with COVID.
There is.
And we'll talk about that coming up.
And the vaccines. Yeah. It's not just COVID. It's not that it's, new variants. It's the vaccines. So, all right, guys, there you have it. We got to our Mazza sports update one way or another.
We did it. And Mike Broadwell brought me in my up-to-date
update.
Perfect.
Did you miss anything?
Yeah, I missed that NFL story.
It was the very end of the NFL requiring the COVID vaccines.
There was a couple other things too, but I'll get over.
We'll get to them in our second segment. There you go.
We like to keep you updated.
All right, guys. When we come back, we'll be getting to our big hook. The feds are not sending more vaccines to Michigan, and Michigan has also temporarily paused the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So let us know your thoughts at Woodward Sports or give us a call, 313-552-6322. You're tuning into The Hook on Woodward Sports Network.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
Hey guys, D-Mac here, 8 Mile Vodka. Now remember, if I'm holding up alcohol, you're in charge of the inside, not me. I like this bottle though, but it is part of the Don't Tell Me What, Tell Me Who. Mikey, George, everybody here are all about Detroit. Try out this vodka. If you are a connoisseur, let me tell you, distilled single 90-liter batches to allow for optimal quality control and care. Then carbon filtered, aerated, and bottled at the perfect time to produce a subtle taste with smooth finish and a character all its own. This is an exceptional premium vodka that will be chilled and enjoyed straight or mixed to create an exceptional cocktail. Wherever you are, ask for 8 Mile Vodka. You can always go to Myers. Remember, if you do drink responsibly.
Welcome back to The Hook on Woodward Sports Network, Detroit's all-digital network, live from my bookie studios. It is Tuesday, April 13th. Make sure that you are joining in on the conversation at Woodward Sports. And of course, showing us some love on our new account over at Twitch, still at Woodward Sports, and giving us a call, 313-552-6322. All right, friends, it's time to get to the big hook. And the big news is, some people are saying that Governor Gretsch messed things up for us, that now after her plea to try and get more vaccines, there's a little bit of conflict between the governor and the White House. The White House feels that the governor should start to shut things back down after our huge spike in COVID cases. The governor is responding saying it's not necessarily because businesses are staying open, but it's because people aren't following protocols. People aren't avoiding big crowds. People aren't keeping their minimum 6 feet distances. People aren't using masks. It's saying also because of youth sports. And of course the new variant that we have here as well. So she's backing the stance of trying to keep the state open. So then the feds have denied giving us more vaccines, and now I'm sure everybody has heard the news that the FDA and the CDC have both said that people should consider pausing the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine after 6 people out of 6.8 million doses that have been administered.
So 1 in a million.
Have whatever the exact dose is, but they've experienced a case of rare and severe type of blood clots in these individuals after receiving the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So Michigan has officially temporarily paused the use of Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Guys, do you feel that the governor messed up, that the governor first was really hard on the lockdown and then she loosened the restrictions and now she wants to keep the state open, And now the feds are saying, well, we're not going to give you any more help. DMAC, how do you feel on this?
I feel that the governor is getting used as a political pawn in this little game that she gambled and lost. And what do I mean by that? This is nothing other than what I witnessed as far as how this state and how she reacted as the strict authoritarian to begin with, and we're in a position a year later where we're in worse shape than a lot of these other states that are open and stuff. And is this something that, you know, one of these things, I guess, in politics is it doesn't matter which side, and I think is she being, you know, martyred for it or stuff like this? Are we, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as the people don't suffer. But these are, you know, obviously other states are doing better. There's a place for everything. I just, you know, the fact that, to me, I'm going to start with the 6 out of 6 million, the 1 in a million. I want more information, let the science dictate, 'cause to me that sounds like there's other complications because of it. But it's something that has to be looked into, you know. So, but just like to me, and Maz and I were talking about this, is just looking at it from afar, is that, you know, when you expect how hard that the governor went for the vice presidency or be in the cabinet or be in Washington, did that, you know, as far as when sometimes in sports and in life, you know, the plans change and allegiances change, and as that changes in front of her, and now are we suffering because of it?
Right.
What I hope is that we curb this number here in Michigan. We are responsible. I think the fact that we've been treated as an adults and asked to do things instead of made to do things, which is probably what should have had to happen in the beginning. But, you know, we are where we're at. And the bottom line is let the science lead and the safety, but you can't. It's tough for her to go back from being militant. It's easier to go one way from, like, some of the other states have gone, where there was softer and then tightened up and then tightened up. But to go back and forth, I think that has just prohibited her, because now you brought in different laws and different things like that. So pretty much just like anything else, we're here a year later and it's still a mess.
Right. You know, and you brought up a very interesting point about the whole, you know, the politics behind everything, right? And I feel a lot of people can say, there's so much politics involved in everything, but whether it was, hey, yes, let's be strict, while there's a chance that the governor could be running as the vice president, okay, fine. And then now those chances are gone. So now it's obviously, let's get our economy back open. Let's get Michigan back to work. And now we're not getting vaccines. So before, under one administration, I feel that you're right, she was butting heads with the current president, so we weren't getting help. Now she's butting heads with the new administration, so we're not getting help. Tom, how do you feel about this?
I really don't have a lot to say about it. I mean, it's you can't win no matter what you pick anyway. I thought the governor was tough on us for a long time, and now she let us get out there a little bit more, and Michigan's numbers are up. I don't know why our numbers are up and no one else's numbers are up. Maybe we give more tests out. I have no idea. I really do not have any idea. I mean, people are running wild in Ohio, Indiana, Texas, obviously, and, you know, and we're here minding our business, you know, doing what we have to do. Remember, there was only going to be 1,000 people at Comerica Park. They finally let that be 8,000 people, and it's just a lot. It's a load of crap right now. I just hope people stay healthy. You don't want to get sick. Just do the best you can.
Right.
You know,
be responsible, right?
Let's just be responsible.
Practice good hygiene. Keep your distance.
You
ain't got to be all up on people.
Hopefully it'll shake one of these days, and we can move on.
Yep. And just so people know, because I'm seeing remarks on social media, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine was not recalled. You can still talk to your doctor about getting it. They're just recommending that you pause on it. Michigan has temporarily paused on it. All right, guys, keep sharing your thoughts with us at Woodward Sports. You can give us a call, 313-552-6322. When we come back, we've got former NHL player and NBC analyst joining us,
best.
Ed Olcyzk.
Hey, Olcyzk, Edzo's on.
So stick around. We'll be right back. You're tuning into The Hook on Woodward Sports Network.
Morning, Art. Morning, D-Mac.
Welcome back to The Hook on Woodward Sports Network, Detroit's all-digital network, live from MyBookie Studios. Joining us here on the show, we have got Ed Olcyzk joining us, NBC analyst, former NHL player. I was hoping that it was somebody that used to play with D-Mac. We'd hear some good stories, but no, we still hear good stories, though, Ed. We still hear some good stories. Welcome to the show, Eddie.
Good to see you, Eddie.
Thanks for having me. How's everybody doing today?
We're doing great, Eddie. You look great. How's that health? You look like a beast again.
Yeah, well, no, I don't know if I ever was a beast, but I feel very lucky and fortunate. 4 years, hard to believe I'm going on almost 4 years of being diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer back on August the 4th of 2017 at 7:07 p.m. when I got a call from my doctor after having a surgery and letting me know that I needed 6 months of chemotherapy. So proud to say I'm on the verge of 3 years of clean and clear and feeling good, and hopefully, continue to be lucky to be on this earth and be 6 feet above the grass instead of 6 feet under, and hopefully it can continue to try to spread the word about making sure that we're taking care of ourselves, even though we're all living in this worldwide pandemic and, so many things going on, is that there's also other things that we have to make sure we're taking care of ourselves. And we want to make sure that if people are raising their hand, if they're not feeling well, if they don't feel right, or if they know somebody that maybe needs to get some help in some form or fashion, is that we encourage them to get to the doctor, because even though we're living in this world, we still have to continue to live and take care of ourselves. So hopefully there's one person out there that we can inspire, and that anybody that knows my story and what I've overcome over the course of the last couple of years, and get them to a doctor and hopefully keep them away from the horrible disease of cancer. And as we all know, cancer does not discriminate. It affects everybody, and it's touched us all in some form and fashion. And hopefully people that know my story, that hopefully can inspire them to stay away from it, deal with it, or at least get through the day. And that's kind of like my goal or my mission in life now, is to make sure that people know about my story and help them along the way.
Amen. We had Dickie Vitale on last week, actually during March Madness, and he spoke, of course, for the Jimmy V Foundation. And, we had a great friend here in Detroit sports, Jamie Samuelson, and unfortunately he passed away from colon cancer as well. We want everyone to get out there and get colonoscopies. It's not 50 years old anymore. I think you should start them way earlier than that. But we are on board, Eddie, and we're proud and have you doing what you're doing and picking those winners for the Derby as well. It's coming.
Yeah, that's right around the corner. That's for sure. Yeah, and just for the record, since I got sick, they have recommended the age for a colonoscopy at 45. So
there you go.
The numbers are up dramatically over the course of the last 10 years, and I think they're still trying to figure out what the hell is going on and why these numbers are going through the roof for young people too. I think from the ages of 18 to 42, the numbers are they're up 115%, and that's a scary thing. So we need to make sure that we're looking after ourselves, and make sure that you ask your physician to make sure when the time comes. If you have no family history, 45 is okay, but if it's in your family, like I have 4 kids, they're all going to have to get checked out 10 years prior to that age 45. So my oldest son is 31 now. He's going to have to make sure that he gets checked out, because he has a family member, obviously immediate, and his father, that's being me, that had stage 3 colon cancer. So we got to make sure we're taking care of ourselves.
We're talking with Eddie Olcyzk, former NHL player. Obviously, you can catch him on NBC Sports. Good to catch up with you, Edzo. One of the things that is different this year for anybody watching sports and watching hockey is that your partner in crime, Doc Emrick, has retired.
My guy.
How is it different, or when did you realize he wasn't there? Because it had to be like having a line mate over the years that you don't know what you got till it's gone. Obviously you're a professional, so you adjust, but what are some of the things that you miss, maybe that you didn't realize initially, but since Doc's gone? Retired.
Well, you know what, Darren, I think that, and I'm sure you lived it in your career, is that, when you have a close friend that is a teammate and arguably one of the greatest of all time in any sport, I always kind of, when we are traveling, and we travel sometimes because of the world we're living in for our national games, but I always kind of take a quick look over my shoulder, wondering if Doc is going to walk into the booth and put the headset on one more time. I mean, look, I knew it was around the corner when Doc announced his retirement, but I didn't think it was like right on the doorstep of him retiring. And I'm happy for him and Joyce, his wife. I mean, two of the greatest people you ever want to be around and to know, and very lucky and fortunate to have been his partner for 14 years at NBC. And I knew who Doc was, obviously, when I was playing, and anytime Doc was in the building or you heard Doc's voice, you knew it was a big hockey game. But we obviously did, our relationship grew, and there was a major trust factor that needed to be built up, and that certainly did. To be with him on the biggest stage every night was a thrill of mine, and to be with him and to see how he prepared and his love for the game and his passion for the game is really second to none. And I just feel very fortunate to have been on his line and him being the captain and kind of showing me the way, helped me become a better broadcaster, helped me become, Darren, a better person. And a lot of people ask me about the stories with Doc and kind of when did you think that you arrived. And I think it was probably about 5 or 6 years ago where, somebody was, asking me about Doc and, when did you think you got his stamp of approval? And I said, you know what? I think I got the stamp of approval when Doc had mentioned to somebody about our relationship. And this is Doc talking. Doc said, I'm not quite quoting him verbatim, but he said, I hope when Edzo is 65, he has somebody take care of him as he is taking care of me. And like that to me was, okay, I arrived. I'm up on that. I'm up on that pedestal with the great Doc Emmerich, and we talk all the time. We text all the time. We were texting yesterday, during the trade deadline and everything that was going on in the National Hockey League. So I miss him a lot, Darren. I do. I like I said, it's not the same, but as Doc would want, and he is encouraged, is, hey, we got to forge ahead and carry his name and his legacy. He's still working, but we miss him a lot, and it's going to be different. This year for the Stanley Cup Final. I mean, we've been hearing Doc for how many years call the biggest game. This will be the first year, and I'm going to say probably 25 years that Doc Emmerich isn't calling a Stanley Cup Final.
No doubt, Eddie, and a good friend of mine and ours here in Michigan. He doesn't live very far from where we are right now. Love the guy. Always left me a pair of tickets in Jersey when I was in there to see the Devils. The only black mark on your career to me is you winning the cup with that damn 1994 Rangers team. You beat Doc's and my team. You beat our Devils.
Well, you know what? Considering I'm a Cubs fan, and my favorite team, it took my favorite team 108 years to win a World Series. It only took the Rangers, and I was a very small part of the team in '94, by the way. It only took us 54 years.
I know, 1940, baby.
Exactly half the time that it took for the Cubs to win a World Series.
Yeah.
It was, look at Darren, you know this. I mean, it's the highlight of, I would like to think anyways, I should say. I can't speak for anybody else, but it's the highlight of a player's career or coach or anybody part of the organization. The trainers are a lifeline of a hockey player. They're the most overworked and underpaid people in our game. And to see them enjoy the excitement of winning the greatest trophy in the world was unbelievable. And look, I had played 10 years in the league. I got to the conference finals my rookie year in Chicago, where we were 2 wins away against the Edmonton Oilers of going to the Stanley Cup Final in '85. And unfortunately for us, the Oilers were right in the middle of their heyday there with with Gretz and Koff and Curry and Mest and Fuhr and Lowe and all those guys. And I never got any farther until I got to that opportunity with the Rangers in '94. So very thankful to have won the Stanley Cup at least one time, and something I'll never forget.
Hey, that was nice of you, Edzo. This is a little subtle backhand to all us Lions fans here in Detroit that haven't had one playoff victory since we've been born.
Since 57.
So, right? So that was nicely played. I know because our first cup was 42 years and growing up as a Wings fan. Let's talk about yesterday in the NHL trade deadline, and obviously the big move around the league was Anthony Mantha going to the Washington Capitals. Now, 99% of everybody here is ecstatic in Detroit, not because they didn't appreciate Mantha, but for the haul that we got in return. two things is like, are we seeing this in Detroit as you guys are nationally? And give us a little bit about what the Wings fans can expect from Jacob Vrana.
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot there, Darren. I think first off, when I first heard the trade, I think I just caught wind of it of Richard Panik and Jacob Vrana and a draft pick. And I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. I mean, I knew Mantha had, look at, these are my words, nobody else's. I mean, I think he's underachieved since he's been a Detroit Red Wing. And then I started hearing it was a second round pick. And I was like, wow, that's a pretty, that's a pretty good haul there. And again, I figured money and salary cap, and I was thinking, this is a real hockey trade that we don't get a lot of because of the world we're living in. And then I started reading the World Wide Web there, and then seeing the full disclosure of the trade, and I was like, really?
Yeah,
like,
I was too, bro.
Jacob Vrana, a first, a second, and Richard Panik. I mean, look, he's a fourth line guy. He's going to get, 8 to 10 goals a year. He's fine. But I was like, wow, that's a huge move. And certainly knowing the direction that Stevie Y is putting, the Red Wings in the franchise and making a move like this. Look at, I think it'll be really interesting to see if Mantha can fit in and play the way that the Washington Capitals like to play. Peter Laviolette likes to push the pace. Obviously, they got great skilled guys there, and he's a big body, and if he ever learns he needs to play inside the dots and just hang around the net every once in a while, the guy's going to score 25, 30 goals without sweating. I mean, you just go to the front of the net and just hang around. You're going to score goals. As far as Jacob Vrana, Darren, he's a highly skilled offensive guy that, was playing second fiddle to some pretty good players there, and he wasn't getting first power play. Not much anyways. When there were some injuries, he would play the first power play. And I've done probably 50 Washington Capital games over the course of the last couple of years. But Vrana is skilled. He can skate. He can make plays. I think Blash and his staff will find time for him on the number one power play.
Yeah.
I think he's a guy that can score. I really believe. I think he's a guy that can score 25 goals every year. And people may say, well, 25. I mean, you know what? Score 25 goals in the National Hockey League is pretty damn good. So I think I like the trade. I like the risk on the capital side as far as, bringing in a guy like Mantha who is underachieved. But I see the direction that Stevie's going there in Detroit, and I love it from the Detroit perspective. So it'll be a lot of fun to see how this thing plays out. But Vrana can play. He's got some skill. And we'll see how it all plays out here over the next, next year, 2 years, 3 years. That's when this trade will really get a grade. Is how do the big players play, and then what does Stevie do with those first and second round draft picks moving forward?
Eddie, what's the word around town? I mean, here in Michigan, we don't have any patience. We want the Wings to be the old Wings. We want to go back to the old Joe Louis Arena and kick ass again. But what's the word around town about the winged wheel going forward with our guy Steve Yzerman and Chris Draper helping him out?
Yeah. I think the understanding of knowing where the Wings were, where they are, and where they're trying to get to. And, some people may say that might be a pretty good philosophy in life, wherever you are in the totem pole of life. But, for me, it's they are in a rebuild, and they're probably a couple of more years away from making the playoffs. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think, and full disclosure here, Jeff Blashill is a very close friend of mine. I've known him forever. I believe that. How do you judge a coach? And I lived what Blash is living in Detroit when I coached in Pittsburgh back in the early 2000s, where I took over a team that, quite frankly, I mean, I didn't have a Dylan Larkin or Tyler Bertuzzi or Philip Hronek. I didn't have any of those type of guys. I took a team that had minus those guys, and we were rebuilding. Like we blew it up, and it's not easy. And look I was playing 5-card stud with 3 cards every single night. And I think to a certain extent, that's what Blash is living, and a couple other teams in the league that have, gone in a rebuild. But how are the coaches going to be evaluated? How will these players be evaluated? Are they improving? Is Dylan Larkin improved? Is Tyler Bertuzzi improved? I think the jury's still out on a guy like Anthony Mantha. Now he was out, but I don't think there's any doubt he never really hit whatever ceiling that maybe people thought he would. The team competes. They play hard. They've gotten some goaltending this year, which has been great to see, because the last little while, I think it's been a battle. But I think people look at the Red Wings and go, they trust what Stevie's doing. They know what he did in Tampa. You got to have patience. I certainly think he's going to do that. Darren, you know him better than anybody, and I think he's got a plan. He's going to stick to it. And at some point, right, as a fan base, you're going to want your GM and your organization to say, okay, enough of the rebuild here. We got to start trying to make a run at the playoffs. We got to be within, 8 or 10 points to just give our fan base a taste, because look, it comes down to selling tickets and getting people in the building. And yes, I know the world we're living in with COVID, but I think around the league, I think most people really like the direction that they're going. But do they have that guy to build around? Like, is Dylan Larkin that guy? Is he that superstar player that can make everybody around him better? Can they have people gravitate towards him? Can he be the centerpiece in 3 or 5 years from now when the Red Wings are battling for a Stanley Cup? I think the question is out on that. I love Dylan Larkin. I think he'd be an incredible number 2 center iceman on any team in the National Hockey League. Can he be number 1? Yeah, I think he can. Does he have the skill level to be that type of player? I'm not so sure right now, but look, get better players around him. Maybe he goes from being a 55 to 65 point consistent guy to a guy that gets 85 and 90 points. So a lot of questions, but I think nationally, I think most people, and I would only speak for myself, is that I like the vision that Stevie has. And for Red Wing fans, you're just going to have maybe just a little bit more patience over the next couple of years.
Ed Olcyzk is joining us here on The Hook. You can follow him on social media at EdZo16, Edzo16. Ed, you're getting a lot of love on our social media across the board. Richard said, loved Ed with the Leafs. Janice, she put up the middle finger and then cancer next to it. Lots of love and support for you. But Nick said, I need Preakness predictions for all races from Eddie. My notepad is ready. I know. He wants everything. He wants Preakness.
Just bet Brad Cox.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I'm having enough trouble with like the third race at Parks today outside Philadelphia, let alone what's going to happen in about 6 weeks in Baltimore for the Preakness. I would say this year for the Derby, which happens to be the first Saturday in May this year, which happens
thankfully
to be May 1st. Yeah, exactly. So there's a horse that I've been watching, and there is a hockey tie here, which is kind of interesting. Vinny Viola and his wife Teresa. Yeah, get your crayons out there.
We got him.
So about, I don't know, say 4 months ago, Vinny and Teresa Viola, the owners of the Florida Panthers, they're big into horses. They won the Breeders' Cup a couple of years ago. They won the Derby a couple of years ago with Always Dreaming. But they have a name of a horse named Known Agenda. Known Agenda, that just happened to win the Florida Derby a couple of weeks ago. And I think with the way the race is, with Todd Pletcher, the trainer, has won the Derby 2 different times. With the way this race is setting up, if the Derby was tomorrow, Eddie Olczyk's Express Bet account would be getting a workout, because I would be, hey Darren, I would be both hands in on Known Agenda. So I think the race sets up extremely well.
Okay.
Still a couple of weeks to go, but Known Agenda would be the pick. But of course, you got to tune in, because I get one final say on NBC when I'm working the Triple Crown on the first Saturday in May. So Known Agenda, keep an eye on that horse.
Hey, it's been Bob Bafford's parade all these years. Yeah. Let's face it. I like this Brad Cox kid. I mean, this guy, he brings essential quality, who's right now the chalk, 4-1. If you get 4-1 on him, I'll take 4-1 all day on him.
Yeah, I think the favorite, essential quality, unbeaten in his career, win the Bluegrass the other day. 4-1. Maybe a little bit lower than that, Maz. I think maybe 7-2, and I think that he will be the favorite. But look, when you have a race that you can make a case for 5 or 6 or 7 horses, why not take a shot? And you can box them up. You can play an exacta, you can play a trifecta, try to get the exact order, and you don't have to invest a whole heck of a lot either. I mean, you could throw a couple of numbers in there, and all of a sudden you invest $12, and the $12 turns into about $800 or $900. That's a pretty good ROI, and I think most investment people would take an investment of how many percent is that? Is that like about 6,000% in a matter of about 2 minutes and 20 seconds? So I think we would all take that. Would take that every day of the week.
All right, while we got you on the horn here,
we're all counting on you, Eddie.
I know, Eddie. I'm going to switch back. I'm going to give you a last hockey question. Give me your final. Who's going to play in the final?
My final. Well,
Who's
full
gonna be in the-
disclosure. Full disclosure, and Darren, I'm glad you're about 800,000 arms away from me when I say this. I picked the Colorado Avalanche to win the Stanley Cup this year. I saw them play in the bubble last year, and they were banged up. And they've improved their. They're pretty good. That's not saying anything. That they're probably the favorite. The last time I saw the odds for winning the Stanley Cup, along with Tampa and Vegas, but Colorado to me is. I think they're the real deal. A lot of people question their goaltending, but when you have the puck, that's the best defense in the world. They seem to have the puck all the time. So if they can limit to 20, 25 shots a game, I think it's going to be really difficult. Healthy, if they can stay healthy, I think that they're the team to beat. Again, now remember, we got the Northern Division, we got the East, we got the Central, we got the West. Everything's all different now. So, Colorado's going to have to play. I think, all due respect to St. Louis, Colorado and Vegas probably going to have to play each other to get out of there and then get to the Final Four, and then who knows from there. I mean, it's absolutely wide open. But I would look at Tampa and Carolina to be one of those two teams. Out of everybody else I've seen around the league, I would say it's either Tampa or Carolina that finds a way to get to the Cup final, and that would be one hell of a Cup final because all three of those teams, as you all know, they like to push the pace.
They do.
They like to get their defensemen involved, and if we're lucky, maybe we have some 5-4, 6-5 Stanley Cup final games, but a lot of hockey to be played. So I'm going to go three teams. I'm going to go Colorado, I'm going to go Tampa, and Carolina in some form or fashion, with Colorado playing one of those two teams in the Stanley Cup final.
Well, Eddie, I got no problem with that. Patrick Waugh is not involved in that organization anymore. He's really the only guy I don't get along with. Me and Lemieux were good. That's a Joe Sakic run team, Steve Eisman and I used to stare at him when we were on the bench, and because that's my favorite player, Sakic. And how can you not like McKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog? Like you said, today's NHL, I wouldn't be too upset again, but. You know me, Eddie, I got 4, so I can't be greedy and stuff. But what is the one thing, and I want to ask you this to take it back around to your last 4 years, but the one thing as Ed Olcyzk sits here and we're talking hockey and stuff, but back to life is that, what are you grateful for today, Ed?
Wow. I don't want to say I get that question a lot, Darren, but, like people ask me, and I think it's probably, and you tell me if I'm wrong, is that, people like, do you look at life differently now after having gone through, removing a tumor the size of my fist and having 6 months of hell and not knowing what was on the other side after taking the chemo every 2 weeks for 48 hours. And I would honestly say that what having gone through stage 3 colon cancer has done for me and for my family is that it reassured me that I was in a pretty good place before I got sick than when I was going through my battle and where I am now. And if I can, I'd like to explain that is that, look, when I was sick, I was scared. I didn't want to die. I didn't want to leave my family. And my son was on the verge of getting married. And, you think the worst. That was what was happening for me. And when I was going through it, even though I was scared and hurting and frustrated and mad, I always lived my life, and I don't know where I learned this, but I always let the most important people in my life know how I felt about them. And I'd always tell my wife of almost 33 years, I would tell my kids, we all have a circle. But I always let them know that I just want you to know, and I need you to know that my life has been better with you in it. My life has been complete because of what we have had as a family and as friends. And, Doc is certainly in this conversation. But I would always let people know that, hey, God forbid, if something would happen to me, I want you to know, I need you to know that I love you, and my life has been complete with you in it. And everybody would say the same thing all the time. Stop talking like that. Nothing's going to happen, all that kind of stuff. But when I was sick and I was going through it, even though I was scared and hurt and mad and angry. I was very much at peace. And if it was my time, at least I could close my eyes and close my eyes and know that, hey, I lived a full life. The most important people knew how I feel about them, and that made me feel good. Like I had peace when I was going through my most difficult challenge in my life, and that's why I tell people, Darren, I just say, look at, even though all of those emotions were there, I was very much at peace. I honestly don't look at things differently. Like, look at sitting in traffic now doesn't bother me as much. If I lose a couple $100 at the racetrack, not a big deal. If my son comes home late one night, not a big deal. And I think those little, I don't want to say petty things, but smaller things. But that was me. I just, like I said, I was at peace when I was going through, and I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to die, but I think that helped me get through. And I would encourage anybody out there, because look, we're all day to day in the big picture. I don't care what anybody says. Like we're all day to day. We just don't know when that time is up. And make sure that you let the most important people in your life know how you feel about them. Because as I told one of my best friends, I said, you know what? No pun intended here, but it would really kill me if I wasn't around and you didn't know how I felt about it. And that's kind of how I got through, Darren. And I know it's long-winded, but hopefully I answered your question.
No, you absolutely did, Edzo, and I appreciate, because at the end of the day, that's what life's all about. Obviously, what you do is not who you are, and the fact that I love the fact that you're open about it, and knowing you personally and stuff like that, you've been an inspiration to a lot of people, myself included. And it's great to be able to touch. Yeah, it's great to hopefully pick the horse and the trade works out. But at the end of the day, if you love somebody, make sure you let them know how they feel.
But pick a winner too.
But pick a winner too. Yeah, don't forget that. Second.
No. Yeah, our social media is very much loving your story. You're getting a lot of love and support, saying you've got an amazing attitude. This is all great advice. Thanks for sharing. Our social media is very much showing you a lot of support right now,
Thanks, Eddie.
But Eddie, before we let you go,
can I jump in real quick? I have to say this though, and I think it can change. It'll change in a heartbeat when I say this, of course, because I'm going to have some fun here. People might not remember, I did play for the Blackhawks for a bunch of years.
Yeah, we know.
But you never beat us, Eddie, so they're not mad at you. They waited till I retired to beat you. We took Chelly, all this stuff, dude. We're like brothers, Detroit and Chicago.
Who are they?
Yeah, not too many times. Not too many times I ever got recognition and applauded in the great city of Detroit and Red Wing fans. But I am thankful. I am thankful for that, and always enjoyed going to the Joe. I love the Joe. I said it. I talked about it in my book. I mean, I love playing in Joe Louis Arena. I had some of my, I don't know how, somehow I just had some of my best games of my career in Joe Louis Arena. Well before Darren was around, by the way, than Darren is. So, but I appreciate the love. So thank you very much to everybody out there.
Yeah.
Well, you feel it, Eddie. We love you.
And Eddie, right, real quick before we let you go, I think we have the wrong social media for you. Are you on social media?
I am not actually. That is my son.
Yes.
That's my
Okay.
oldest son. So
I figured that out.
I did try social media a couple of years ago, and then real quick story. So I tried it for a year and a half. I enjoyed it. I like communicating with fans. You always get people that sit there and they give you an opinion, and a lot of it's not whatever. And I would kill them with kindness. If somebody told me, "Oh, Jack, you suck. I hate you. You're a homer. This and that." And I would just say, hey, have a great day, thanks a lot. And then they didn't know how to come back at me. But I eventually just kind of gave it up. But the one time it kind of put me over the edge, I don't know who it was. I shouldn't say it was a guy. It was a person that texted or tweeted me and goes, last night in the game, you were horrible. You loved the Rangers. You didn't pick up. And I'm like, what game are you talking about? He goes, it was the Rangers and Capitals game last night. I go, sir, I didn't do the game last night. He goes, oh, sorry.
Eddie, you got to get back on Twitter. We need you back on Twitter, at least for your picks, for crying out loud.
No. You know what I am doing, Darren? Are you doing any? I don't know if I should say this. I guess you guys got a dump button there, but are you doing like Cameo or Memo or anything?
Yeah, I've done them both.
Yeah,
I
just started doing that, and I don't know if I'm doing a good job or not, but I mean.
But
I'm trying to learn.
Yeah, the Cameo's actually out of Chicago, and I've been doing that. I was one of the original ones to start with them, but different platforms to be able to talk. The Memos is good because that's the one for Canada and Europe and stuff. But it's all about connecting and being able to reach out to different people. I mean, Hey, Eddie, it works. I mean, I'm over. I'm almost 4,500 that I've done in the last 3 years.
But he only charges his number 25 cents. That's all he charges.
Not true. Not true. But the thing, to your point, is it's the personality and it's the touch, and guys like you and I who like to have that personal touch and give people that, because the best way to describe you, Edzo, is that you're exactly what you see on TV. What you see is what you get. Your opinion, and that's right. You're gonna kill them with kindness. But yeah, I'm enjoying doing that. I've been doing it for a while, and it's a great way for people to reach out. So connect with at Olcyzk on Memo and Cameo.
There you go.
All right, Eddie, thanks so much for joining us. Come back anytime.
Thanks, bud.
Okay.
We love
Thanks
having
for
you.
having me. Appreciate it. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right, see you at the Derby.
All right, guys, when we come back, it is time for us to play our Get Home with Hall Financial Baseball Trivia. So dial it up, 313-552-6322. You're tuning into The Hook on Woodward Sports Network.
Hey, it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys. And ladies, this is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking thorough good boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
Hey gang, it's Maz from MyBookie. Watching any sports is a hell of a lot more exciting when you got a little stake in the game. But regardless of what you play and what platform that makes it easy, try MyBookie because they make it the easiest. Bet MLB regular season matches, NBA player props, every other major event like the highly anticipated boxing match between MMA veteran Ben Askren and YouTuber Jake Paul. Place a single wager of $20 on that fight and you'll get a free $20 bet for UFC 261. How about that, huh? A free $20 bet from MyBookie. If that's not enticing at all, how about this? How about back the former Olympians corner and you get 2-to-1 payout with MyBookie odds on Ben Askren to win the fight outright. So if you bet him straight up, you're getting 2-to-1 odds. Sign up this week with the promo code Woodward. Now this is what I was trying to tell you guys earlier. They have upped their promo bonus to a $1,000 bonus now on your first deposit. That's promo code Woodward. Grab yourself a free cash bonus on top of the free bets and boosted odds. It's Ben Askren and Jake Paul. It's the fight nobody wanted, but no one can stop talking about it either. And you won't want to miss out on it at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Welcome back to The Hook on Woodward Sports Network, Detroit's all-digital network, live from MyBookie Studios. All right, guys, it is about that time to start dialing up the phones, 313-552-6322, because we are getting ready to play our Get Home with Hall Financial Baseball Trivia for your chance to win a $100 gift card to Lashish, all thanks to our friends at Hall Financial. All right, Fish, who do we have?
So Kevin called in about 47 minutes and 30 seconds ago as I'm looking on the screen. He had a question for D-Mac. So no one else is here, so he is going to ask D-Mac a question and be part of our trivia today. So it's a double bonus.
All right.
Okay.
Fire away, Kev. How you doing today?
Good.
We might as well just make you part of the show,
Muskegon in the
Kev.
house.
What's that? Muskegon in the house.
All that time, I got a question for each of you, but I want you to answer it afterward. Maz, do you know or have you met or did you live in the same area as Joey Diaz?
Yes.
Pilar, why do you always smile? And Mac, I want to know how you felt and how the guys felt, the core guys that you played with, when the playoff streak was snapped. And obviously it wasn't good, but I want to know how you look back at it. And also I want to know, my brother, he was an equipment manager for the Muskegon Fury for many years. And how do NHL equipment managers get treated, first off, and secondly, how important are they?
Oh, they're huge. Your equipment guy, your medical guy, and whether it's your assistant equipment guy or whatever it is, they're important for ordering your sticks. Obviously, they're treated really well, but it's the importance where you have to have a good relationship with that. So, Paul Boyer was our guy. You'd have that relationship, but the guys that are there now, Brady Munger, Johnny Remedios, they used to do, I'd do 3 sticks before the game. I'd give them to Johnny, he'd cut them down, and I'd tape them or whatever, but they'd be sitting in my stall. So as far as the equipment, you're only as good as if you get the sticks you want and how they feel. About the playoff streak, hey, it worked out. 25 years, that's my number. Stop. Now reset. I was retired. It works out everything. I got to go in there and swing the 25 banner at Old Joel Louis Arena. It worked out all right. Going up to right now, a little bit bumpy water, but I think with the trade we made yesterday, Stevie's getting this back on track, and we'll get back, and we're going to go after another legitimate playoff streak. The biggest thing is the last 5 or 6 years hindered us into where we are now. So it's something that you want to be competitive, and when we get back in the playoffs, you want to be competing for at least conference championship every year. And that's what Stevie's trying to do.
All right, Pilar, your turn.
Exactly.
As far as why do I always smile, I don't know if I know how to not smile, guys. I'm not, I smile in my sleep. I don't know. I mean,
you can't not smile, see?
I can't.
Just goes to show you how happy Pilar is you called in, Kev. What about you, Maz? You know Joey Diaz?
I do.
You know Uncle Joey?
I do. Joey Coco Diaz from North Bergen, New Jersey. Big superstar now out in Hollywood. He forgot all us North Bergen guys. No, he didn't. He still talks to all us North Bergen guys, and we couldn't be happier for his success. And I got a couple of friends of mine that are really close to him, like my man Danny B.
Yeah.
My man Danny B. He is real tight with Joey. So, yeah, from North Bergen, New Jersey. We're proud, man. I wish I can get a couple, just a few of his 1.5 million followers to follow us here on Woodward Sports.
Where are you from?
Yeah, North Bergen, New Jersey.
No kidding.
Yes,
You're
sir.
From the same exact place.
Isn't that
All right,
something?
sweet.
Yeah. Same home as the great James Braddock. Great
Really?
heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
Middleweight champ.
Yeah.
Right on.
Thanks for calling, Kev. Stay in touch with us.
was he doing our trivia as well?
No, we can't do a trivia with Kev again. He
Oh,
already won.
okay.
You already won. You can't do 2 in a row.
Okay. Do we have another
I
caller?
haven't won.
I think we
I
got
haven't won anything.
Well, I think
He
we
says
got.
he didn't win.
Yeah, he has not won the trivia yet. The only person
Give
we
him a
have
shot.
was Friday Mike.
Now, is there another caller or no?
We do have another caller. Do you want to get to him?
Yeah, you know what, Kev? We're going to try a different caller because you've tried
Yeah,
a lot.
that's cool.
All right, brother.
That's cool.
We know we're going to talk to you tomorrow, so we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks
Kev-
for your support.
Kev from Muskegon. Daily calling.
Kevin and I follow each other on Twitter. We have a good time together.
He's a wonder.
All right, Fish. Introduce our next caller.
Alrighty, Zach from Milford is going to take us home and win this, win the trivia.
All right,
We have a new
Zach,
caller.
welcome to the show.
What's
Are
up?
you ready?
I am ready. Let's go. Let's
All
get
right,
it.
Zach. You know how it works. We're gonna give you 4 questions, one at a time. If you get the first one right, you advance to first base. The second one, second base. Third base, and you want to get home to win that $100 gift card to Lashish. So here we go. It's Zach. How many players? Now this is. Listen carefully. How many players are on the field to start a baseball game? How many players
see.
on the field to start a baseball game?
Let's
This is a
see,
Pilar
we've got
question, by the
9
way.
We've got 9 fielders and 1 batter, so that equals 10.
10?
Yes, that is
10
correct.
is a winner.
Yes.
And of course, I am not ready with the ding, ding, ding.
Hey.
Hold on.
Hey, can I ask Zach, was that not like the way that was worded, that question was so easy to understand what was asked, wasn't it?
Very easy.
I think I worded it
always.
beautifully.
You worded
No,
it.
that's what
yes.
I'm saying. The
Yes.
wording was beautiful.
All right, Pilar, you get the
Super
second
clear.
base question. Hold on now.
Otherwise, the answer would have been 10 to 13. If originally I had said how many players can be on a field can be on the field at one time, and the answer is 10 to 13, depending on how many people are on bases. But then it took our village, and we decided we would just word it to start a baseball.
And Zach benefited from all that.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
All right, you got number 2?
All right.
All right, Zach. What Tiger made the last defensive out to win the '84 World Series?
Oh, shoot.
This one's brought to you.
Was it Alan Trammell?
I'll give you one more guess.
Was it Lou Whitaker?
No.
Good. Thanks for calling in, Zach. Thanks for trying, Zach. Unfortunately, and I put that question there because we've talked about it before, and we talked about it either with Tony Paul on the show or whatever, because I remembered it. It's my question. Larry Hearn in left field, off the bat of Tony Gwynn.
Off of Tony
Shoestring, not sort of, he sort of ham-boned. It was sort of like a half calf here, like down here. Where's the camera?
He was running in for it.
Yeah, he was running in. He caught it like here. It wasn't like a shoestring, but it was close to it, and I'll never forget. Never forget.
All right. Well,
Nice
Thanks
try.
for letting me play, guys.
yeah,
Hey,
thanks
thank
for
you.
calling in.
Thanks for calling in, Zach.
We'll try it again tomorrow. You guys have to
betcha.
come up with 2 questions again.
All right.
My 3 and 4 questions have not been hit yet.
Well, you know what? Usually the ones that haven't been hit yet, you move up.
Well, we haven't.
Yeah, I feel like
You want me to move
3
those up? Okay.
Well, I
Well,
mean,
3
even if-
was easier than 2 today.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'll move them up.
Well, I want you to get in
You
there.
guys
with
still
some.
owe me 2 questions.
I will. I'll give
Okay.
you
Yeah,
one.
we'll see. We'll keep giving you questions.
That's fine.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for playing along, and thanks so much for your support. Justin said, what about the player in the on-deck circle?
Not in the field.
Not on the field. Yeah.
Okay, not on the field.
That was the thing about that question. It can get so intricate.
Yep.
So, all right, guys.
Good one, though, Justin.
Yes, so we still have a whole lot more show coming up, so stick around. You're tuning into The Hook on Woodward Sports Network.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We're recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Welcome back to The Hook on Woodward Sports Network, Detroit's all-digital network, live from MyBookie Studios. It is Tuesday, April 13th. I'm your girl, Pilar Lastra. To my left, we've got D-Mac. To my right, we've got Tom Mazawey. Fish in the fishbowl. Eazy D behind the glass, and Luke manning our social media at Woodward Sports across the board. All right, Maz, let's get to our sports update.
Sure do. Brought to you by MyBookie. Don't forget to use that promo code Woodward. They will now match up to $1,000 of your first initial deposit at mybookie.ag. Tigers and the Astros again tonight. Tigers will try to make it 2 in a row. Casey Mize with a win last night. Akil Baddoo with home run number 3. Matthew Boyd, Jake Odorizzi tonight from Minute Maid Park at 8:10. Red Wings will have the night off. They earned it. They swept the Canes in Carolina. Beat one of the top teams in the East 3-1. And Adam Ernie with the game winner turned out to be the franchise's 20,000th goal. And we talked about Mac yesterday. What percentage of goals you have out of those 20,000 goals?
0.006.
But
if it was Bitcoin, I'd be rich.
But how many Stanley Cup game-winning goals do you have?
Sorry, Maz. It's pronounced Stanley Cup clinching goals. I got one.
You got one.
I got one.
You got one. Congrats, by
Thanks.
the way. Wings started 2-game set with Eddie Olcyzk's Chicago Blackhawks at Little Caesars Arena on Thursday. The Pistons and the Clippers rematch. It's from the LCA this time. 12 of the Pistons' last 18 games will be played at home. They will tip tomorrow just after 7 o'clock. Longtime Pacers voice Slick Leonard passing away today at the age of 88. He came up with that. What a great, he was like, boom, baby. Every time Reggie Miller would score, it'd be boom, baby, boom, baby. And this guy won 3 ABA championships as the head coach of the Indiana Pacers. And listen to this. A lot of people don't know this. When the league merged, with the ABA and the NBA merged in 1976, 4 teams came over from the ABA. They were the Pacers, the Spurs, the Nuggets, and the Nets. They offered the St. Louis Spirits to come over as well. Those owners said, no, we don't want to come. We're just going to fold. But we want a certain percentage of whatever these teams bring in on NBA merchandise. Do you know how much money the NBA lost because of that? These guys, they were brothers that owned the St. Louis Spirits. They were brilliant. And I want you to look up the story. The St. Louis Spirits, Marvin Barnes played for that team. But NBA finally had to buy these guys out just a few years ago. They've been collecting a check every single season since 1976 from the NBA. I don't know the exact amount of money, but it's enormous. They made out better than if they would have come over to the NBA. So anyway, I want to tell you about Slick Watts, the Pacers coach at that time. The Pacers needed at least 8,000 fans to sell season tickets to before the NBA would take you. And they were suffering. They were down to 6,000 fans. So him and his wife, they do a telethon, and they wind up selling the extra 2,000 tickets, and it saved the Pacers and brought them into the NBA. Otherwise, there's no Indiana Pacers.
Amazing story.
Isn't that something? I thought you guys might like that. Anyway, the Nets and T-Wolves. Yesterday, they postponed that game. And you know why? All the unrest in Minnesota, plus they were paying homage to that unfortunate person that passed away on Sunday. Well, the Nets and T-Wolves tipping off right about now in Minnesota. NFL informing the clubs and any team employee that refuses a COVID vaccination without a bona fide religious ground or a medical treatment will be barred from the facility and from directly working with players. That means coaches and any type of staff that works for a team. If you want to be on the grounds, you have to have the COVID shot. And speaking of being on the grounds, an AP, happy 44th birthday to our head coach for the Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell. And the Cardinals signed former Steelers running back James Conner. It's a pretty good signing for them as they batten down the hatches for the next season. And yesterday I did Kobe Bryant when he blew out his Achilles. You wouldn't believe what popped up again today on this day in sports. This time, just 5 years ago today, the great Kobe Bryant's final game as an NBA player. Oh, by the way, he dropped 60 on the Jazz.
Going to the basket. Kobe Bryant!
There it is!
A 50-point game. Bryant for three. Got it all! Bryant on the move with the jumper. He got it! My! 58 points of greatness for Shizzle.
Nicely done, Kobe.
Yeah.
The Black Mamba goes out with 60 points in his final game. I watched that game. How could you turn away from it? He was an amazing player, an amazing person. Obviously, he should still be with us. And I'd be duress if I didn't at least have a little fun with the Lakers as well. 20 years ago tonight, if you're a big Seinfeld fan like I am, and I think a couple of our fans here are, I think Pilar likes Seinfeld.
I'm a big Seinfeld
fan. Do you like Curb Your Enthusiasm as well?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Well, 20 years ago, Larry David and his buddy Richard were at courtside for the Lakers. And let's tune in 20 years ago tonight on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Been out of the game for 5 minutes. He should put him back in. This guy's everything's upset. I don't even know. Maybe he's tired. Oh God! What'd you do? Oh, I'm so. Are you okay? I'm so sorry.
Hey, give us some room here.
Listen to Richard Lewis now. Listen.
What is it? I need to hold the knee. Okay, easy. Look at this shit. It's not an assassination attempt, for Christ's sake. Can you put any weight on it? I'm sorry.
They had to slink out. They had to slink out of the Staples Center, and every time anyone would see Larry on the streets, they'd boo him, they'd throw stuff at him. A car would go in a puddle and splash him. It was horrible. But Larry, how did he get back in Shaq's good graces? He brought the entire Seinfeld series on videotape on a VCR tape into the hospital, wheeled it into the room, and Shaq said, "Oh, Larry, that's okay." He forgave him, and that was the end of that story.
Of
So,
course, in Shaq manner, right?
Of course,
Being
in
the
Shaq
hero.
manner. Isn't that great?
No big deal.
Oh, I love that show.
What a great
That's a good one.
I think the new season's coming up here anytime now on HBO, and it'll just keep going, LD. Keep it going.
Right. That was a good one. All right, guys. When we come back, we've got more talk. Julian Edelman officially retires yesterday.
Good.
I was going to say tomorrow. You said good. Officially retires. Let us know how you guys feel about it. I don't know if you guys saw the video. You're starting to get a glimpse at how Maz feels about it, but we're going to give you our
Just
take.
go away.
You're tuning into The Hook on Woodward Sports Network. Start a new career in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu.
Please. Thank
All
you.
right, guys.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Nick.
I was going to say, are you reading?
This is what I love, you guys. And here, I'm sorry.
One of the comments on social
but the
media.
fact that this is, whatever, the hookers or whatever, we appreciate you. Because Nick said that $300 million is what the St. Louis Spirits owners made, and then they got bought out for $500 million.
Yeah.
So when Maz ain't talking about chump change and peanuts, and thanks for all you guys out there, that
Pretty
makes
good,
it a lot easier.
Just under $1 billion to not play.
Listen,
to not pay a salary.
Wow.
To not play.
Your passive income is the key. What can you have to make you money when you're asleep? Not when you're up, not when you're doing it. Your passive income, which means when you don't have to do it and it's working. So, these guys are brilliant. I never even knew that.
I didn't know that either.
You give us
That's
something.
my ABA love. I love the old leagues. I love the leagues that really tried their best to make it and didn't make it really, but had great product. The ABA was great. The red, white, and blue ball is the greatest ball ever invented, ever. And they came up with the three-point play. They came up with the dunk contest. Yes, the American Basketball Association, Dr. J and the Nets, and he was supposed to be a Net coming in, and they wound up selling him on the eve of them coming into the NBA. They sold him to the Sixers. The only reason he played for the Sixers is because the Nets owner, who owned the Islanders too, Roy Bowe, I'll never forget his name because we hate his guts, sold them because he was a broke-ass MFer. That's why.
Okay. On that note, let's just keep riling him up. Let's
There
talk
they
some
are. Check
Julian
it out.
Edelman.
And the greatest uniforms. Look at those short shorts.
They were great.
Flint Tropics.
Do you know who
baby.
their announcer was?
No.
Bob Costas.
No kidding.
Yep.
The Bob Costas.
The Bob Costas.
Gosh darn it, Maz. Look at this little rabbit hole. I love it.
I know.
I love it.
I know. So, all right, we're going to keep you riled up here. Keep your engines revved.
I'm sweating.
As we talk about Julian Edelman all over social media and in the world of media. The big question now is Julian Edelman a Hall of Fame wide receiver?
No.
You want to let
We
Maz
know.
go first?
Aside from
No. I say no.
Hold on. Maz, aside from the fact that you just hate him because he played for New England, why would you say no? I mean, give us some legitimate points here. I mean,
Calvin Johnson, Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin, Julian Edelman? Really?
Right.
He doesn't even belong in the same sentence.
Somebody
the guy
who's
had
had-
great playoff games. He did. Second best in postseason history to Jerry Rice for most catches and most yards. He won an MVP, Super Bowl 53. I told you the other day he made that catch that won the game for the Patriots. Absolutely won the game. Got him even for the two Giants catches. David Tyree helmet catch. Mario Manningham on the sidelines. Eli Manning, kryptonite for Tom Brady. That's another story. But nonetheless, Julian Edelman, maybe put him in the postseason Hall of Fame, but he's not a Hall of Fame receiver. Seventh round pick out of Kent State. I tip my hat to him from the MAC. He was good. He's very good on special teams. Matter of fact, the first thing he did is return to kick 80 yards in a preseason game playing. That's why he made the team. He made the team as a special teams guy. He was a quarterback for Kent State. So he was a good athlete. I probably would have really liked him if he played for the Lions, Giants, or Jets, but I hate him because he played for Brady.
yeah, this is a guy who In his 11 years playing, he had 3 1,000-plus yard seasons.
But this brings
in
up a
11
great
years.
point. This brings up a phenomenal point. If you're gonna, what is the Hall of Fame for? To tell the history of the game and the greatest players in every sport. But to tell the true story is that there's regular season and then there's playoffs, right? So I'm a proponent is who are guys that are regular season guys and who are playoff guys. Now the best of the best are going to be in both Hall of Fames. But to tell the story, if you want to tell it for the future and stuff like that, then Julian Edelman is in the New England Patriots story, and if it's in the Hall of Fame playoff story and their Super Bowls and stuff, yes, it should be in. It's the same thing as is it regular season stats that you want, or is it would you rather, here's a poll question. Would you rather be like one of my best buddies, Dino Cicerelli, that one of the greatest scorers in history, has 600 goals, is a Hall of Famer, but it doesn't have cups? So if you have to choose, but everybody's different. And I know that Dino would give away 100, 200 goals to have some cups. Yeah. But I wouldn't give any of my cups to have any goals or any records. So the whole thing is, I look at Julian Edelman is, to me, more on the lines of a Thomas Holmstrom and a Chris Draper, that you can't tell the Stanley Cup story without these guys come playoff time. Correct. Now, all the stuff that they've done, it's a huge part of it. Now, it's not a part of the window dressing regular season, but, that's a different thing in the mentality. I just wondered if people, think the same way, because there should be in the Hall of Fames a playoff Hall of Fame. Right. In all of them, to explain the story of each year. And maybe those players are only mentioned, right, during those years. And then if they've corralled them, well, then maybe these are certain playoff-type players.
And in baseball, you should have a steroid wing. You should.
Yeah.
You should, because you can't keep Barry Bonds out. I hate his guts.
You have to tell the story.
Right, Roger Clemens, Rafael Palmeiro, Pudge Rodriguez, in a smaller way.
Sure.
There's you gotta Pete Rose, you gotta give them what they're due. Give them their due, but they have their asterisk, they have their own wing.
Maz, this is a perfect question for you, because everybody knows that you're the history guy, the way that it's done, the link to the past. But in order to tell the right story, what?
I'm a dinosaur.
No. But in order to tell the right story, right, you should include whether it's asterisks or the fact that it was steroids. But how's somebody going to learn? That's like omitting Gospels.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard they did that too. Not that I know, but
what do you mean?
That's what it's like. You don't get the whole story, right? You don't get the whole story, and that's part of the whole story. Because what brought baseball back? Right? Sosa, McGuire, the home run race, Barry Bonds, all this stuff. Yeah. Clemens, freaking Schilling with the bloody shoe, like all this stuff, which is sort of like if you relate it to Raw, it's like the Attitude Era. When it's more of the sex appeal and all the different stuff. So I agree 100%. It should be in there and put big ass asterisks beside it.
Do you guys want to know a fun fact?
Of course.
Julian Edelman only second to Jerry Rice in postseason receiver stats.
Yeah, that's what we said.
Also dated his daughter. Took his daughter to prom.
What?
That's right.
Look at that. No way.
Now I know how we got that special receiving.
That's a damn good hook.
Robin, good job.
That's a good one.
Hey, that's it. Rub up against Jerry Rice's daughter. Who knows? They got some greatness rub off on you.
How about that?
I think that I probably would have been able to justify this a little bit more. I think he's a very fun player. I think he's very versatile. He's definitely that team player. If you need him to run the ball, he will. If you need him to play special teams, he will. I mean, in his course of his career, he almost had 2,000 yards as in the special teams. But had Tom Brady left, and we still would have found massive success. Now, granted, he had that terrible injury that took him out for the majority of the season last year. But had we seen him have success after his success with Tom Brady, I think it would have been a different conversation. And I understand that there was the injury there. I'm not trying to take too much away from him. I think he was a very fun player.
Even if he had a great year last year, he's not a Hall of Fame receiver. He's just not.
Well, I think that what would have happened is he would have continued to play. I mean, in his farewell
Got
retirement.
some numbers on the screen for you guys too. His career stats.
Yep.
Yep. There's his career stats up on the screen. So in his farewell retirement video that he posted on social media yesterday, he said he was going to be playing until the wheels came off, and finally they did come off due to an injury from last season. So, I mean, you never know really where the ceiling for him could have been. I feel that the ceiling was already with Tom Brady. I don't know if it could have been that great with Cam Newton or anybody else for that matter, but I don't know. You guys let us know your thoughts on social media. Do you think that Julian Edelman deserves to be a Hall of Fame wide receiver? At Woodward Sports, you know, the fact that the Patriots terminated his contract after he failed a physical, and because of the injury, he now becomes eligible for the injury protection benefits, which is something that the Players Association has fought for very hard. So so it's great. He gets up to $2 million under that protection benefit.
Now, if the NFL only stood up for their players that have already given their lives to this game, that'll be a little bit better.
It would be better.
How about waking up and doing that?
How about all leagues?
Yeah.
Yep.
All leagues. So let us know your thoughts. We love to hear what you guys are saying at Woodward Sports across the board. When we come back, now we're going to make Maz happy. We're going to talk a little bit of XFL, CFL, The Rock.
The Rock?
So don't go anywhere.
Making me happy. You're talking XFL, CFL. You're talking
the next president of the United States.
Next president of the United States.
Okay. All right. You guys stick around for this one. You're tuning into The Hook on Woodward Sports Network.
I can't vote.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
Welcome back to The Hook on Woodward Sports Network, Detroit's all-digital network, live from MyBookie Studios. It is Tuesday, April 13th. I'm Pilar Lastra. To my left, we've got D-Mac. To my right, we've got Maz. Fish in the fishbowl. Eazy D behind the glass. And, of course, our boy Luke manning all of our social media. Thank you guys so much for all the interaction at Woodward Sports. And, of course, make sure that you are showing us some love on Twitch. We are now on Twitch, my friends. And, of course, you can always give us a call, 313-552-6322. All right, Tom Mazawey and D-Mac, I'm going to make you guys happy. The Rock is in talks, allegedly, to bring the CFL, XFL, kind of together. It'd be their next big event, trying to make it their Super Bowl.
Well, they're going to try to merge. That's what we talked about a month ago. We talked about it about a month ago. XFL is now owned by The Rock, and he's got some investors in it, and he got it pretty darn cheap from Vince McMahon. And when they folded the league, when they paused the league for COVID last year, I thought it was really doing well. Matter of fact, one of their quarterbacks made it onto the Carolina Panthers, beat the Lions. PJ Walker. I mean, they had some good players. They had some terrific announcers. They had a great TV deal. The kicker is now he didn't want to bring it back this year yet. COVID still, and they just weren't ready. But what they're talking about is bringing the CFL and the XFL together. And who knows, maybe the XFL will have their own game. Maybe the Grey Cup will still be played by the CFL. But he's talking about the two leagues at the end playing the Super Bowl. In other words, just like the AFL and the NFL did back in 1967 when the Packers and Chiefs met in Super Bowl I. It was still the AFL versus the NFL. Then the next year was against the Raiders and the Packers. The following year is the Jets when they beat the Colts. And then they merged, and the Chiefs wind up beating the Vikings. So it was 2-2 going into the merger. AFL won the last two. NFL won the first two. And, of course, it became the NFL. So the CFL and XFL, it's got legs, people. Yeah. And not only that, it's going to take money to get this deal. Fox had them. ABC had them. ESPN had them. They were spread. I could see another mega deal here. It's not going to be like the billions of dollars, the $110 billion that the NFL got, but it's going to be pretty darn good. Right. I think it's just great. You know, I think they could do a really good thing. I'm not sure about the league rules because the CFL plays with a bigger field. They play with 12 players. They play with 3 downs. they have a rouge, which is if you don't bring a ball out of the end zone, you get a point against you, which I dig. I like that. Because the NFL, they just you kick the ball and they're not even fielding it.
Well, the
anymore.
NFL, it's more like they're going to take the kickoffs out of.
I know, but
football.
instead of doing that, add that rouge.
I
Get
get
that
it. There's
rouge.
25 yards in the end zones too.
So anyway, the league's got to get together eventually, but I think it's cool.
Yeah, but the other thing that, according to a source that told Front Office Sports, that there could also be an all-star game pitting players from both leagues with, of course, the long-term objective would be to merge the two pro football leagues.
I just
But
think it's
yeah,
good.
It would be fun. I feel that the more big events that they put around it, people are going to at least watch that, right? People will watch the XFL, CFL, their interleague championship that would be equivalent to a Super Bowl. People would, that's fun to watch.
It definitely
people
fell
would
off.
watch.
When they first started the XFL the second time around, they got that big first weekend hit.
Yeah.
And then it went down every week. Did I still watch it? Yeah, because I'm a football fan. But I didn't lock in on all the games all the time, and it's going to take time. But, you know,
Sure.
I was a USFL fan, and I did lock in on that league. That was a quality league. Obviously, the NFL, it was competitive enough that most of the USFL players made it into the NFL, including Reggie White, Steve Young. You can go on and on.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump decided that he wanted to play ball against the NFL and cost that league its life. They did win the battle, though, in court, but they only won a couple of dollars.
This is
out of that
strictly,
deal.
okay? This is strictly a case. Don't tell me what, tell me who. And the fact that The Rock is involved and is taking a big part. I don't know if you guys know this, and it can go back to the beginning as Rocky Maivia before he came to Rock and wrestling or whatever. This man is one of the people that puts his mind to something and succeeds, no matter it is. Make him the greatest action movie, comedy, whatever The Rock is. He's got his own TV show, and even though we're joking about running for president, but why is that such a joke? He's somebody
I feel
that
it's not
can
a
bring
joke anymore.
somebody to bring this together, and this is where it starts. If there's some leadership that he can make this come off the ground, and the thing that I love is he's looking for the win-win. So the more we hear about it, the more we hear about them talking about what the rules would be, or the more the conversations. To me, I invest in everything Dwayne Johnson does because I believe in the man. I've watched him. His characters listening.
Great actor, too.
phenomenal.
What? Great actor.
Great actor.
Listening to the. See, here's the thing. Listen to the guys that knew him on the way up before he was anything, and that's mostly in the wrestling circles. And when they talk about him and how giving and friendship and team oriented he is, he's gonna succeed, dude.
Right.
He's gonna succeed. So that's the greatest thing that they have going for him. For me, when Vince McMahon owned it, it's just, again, like I feel about WWE. It's a what's the joke, or when's it gonna fall apart? It's legit. And I think, Tom, out of all of the ones that have come up recently, this has the
Did you just call me
opportunity to
Tom?
succeed. Yes, Tom.
I don't think you've ever called me Tom.
Well, I wanted you to understand, Tom, that
pay
this
attention.
is that you might get your second favorite foot back to stay here, right?
Okay.
Now, aren't you sick and tired of investing into something and then it pulled out of you? How many times does that happen in your life?
A lot.
A ton, right? A ton.
But do you know I have a souvenir from every single league?
Yes, I
that
do.
started?
That's just who you are, exactly. But I hear you crying more about ABA teams and USFL teams and different things like that. So,
What a whiner.
So again, it's something to pay attention to because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is involved.
Yep. Our social media is also, like, the CFL has loyal fan base, and it's true, a very minimal one versus the NFL, but they do have a very loyal fan base. I personally support people like The Rock. I love what he does. I love what he does for community. There's a great story. One of my friends back in California was rescuing a dog, and they called him the Rock the pup, and it was trending on social media. The poor dog needed all kinds of money to be raised for him to have a heart surgery. He was abandoned. He was tied and beaten. It was awful. Wow. And the heart murmur was caused from all the stress that the poor little puppy was under. So The Rock saw this on social media, and he donated like $5,000, like something insane to help this little puppy survive.
What's your favorite word? Compassion, right? And
Yeah,
when
that
you
to
see
me,
that
I
from
feel-
the highest and from the people that we know we're supposed to, but in the social media and stuff like that, that's what gives me faith. To all the ones you want to bitch and moan about, like the fact that Eazy put up a poll. What are you looking for a championship MMA fight this weekend, or the Logan Paul Ben Askren? And that got way more votes because we want to see some freaking YouTube idiot get his ass kicked.
It's Jake Paul.
Yeah, whatever.
Jake Paul.
Same thing.
It was a Paul.
Same thing. They're brothers, aren't they? Can't tell them apart. Both goofy looking.
Yes, they are.
That's right.
I'll give a guy. He's in shape, man. He worked his ass off.
Well, he's supposed to.
I know.
Right, he's gonna fight.
I know, but a lot of those guys, they don't give a damn. Like, remember Danny
But if
Bonaducce when he was fighting?
Listen,
Remember-
if he doesn't
Danny
against Ben
Bonaducce,
Askren will rip his head off.
Yeah. Fish, what do you have for us?
You're absolutely wrong, Maz. These YouTube boxers, they want to make a career in boxing. So they're really trying their ass off to win these. Like Jake Paul, he probably thinks he's the best boxer out there.
Yeah.
Like better than Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali.
Well, he's an idiot.
Oh, my.
I agree with you on that one.
Thank you.
All right. Well, hopefully they are able to pull off these events, because I would like to watch a Super Bowl event of the CFL and XFL.
So you having a party again with the
together.
guys
It
at your
would be-
place at the Smoke Shack this weekend?
For what?
You guys gonna watch this stupid Logan Paul?
The party's at Sean's house.
Did you say the wrestling?
Yeah, wrestling.
No, that's
Sorry.
right, exactly. Wrestling goes on in my house, not this MMA garbage that's
Got
in
it.
here or whatever. Or what? We watch it in here, do we not?
Garbage.
Some of it.
I know.
Some of it. No,
Art's
I
not
enjoy
here
it.
to
I
defend
learned-
that
no,
comment.
Easy's the MMA guy too, and they sit there and no, I'm not gonna watch the fight. I'll watch highlights.
Attaboy.
Right.
But
All right, guys, let's move on to more news in the world of sports. Former Kansas City assistant coach Britt Reed was charged with a DUI for a crash that seriously injured the 5-year-old little girl, Ariel Young. That carries a 1 to 7 year jail sentence and a $100,000 bond. Does it surprise you that it took them this long? Right after the incident, we knew that he was drinking and driving.
Yeah.
Is it surprising more that it took them this long?
I think it had to get through the NFL. They had to ring it out, put through all their lawyers, and know the exact speak for it to come out. And they obviously they terminated his contract. He's not with the team anymore.
Right.
And it's a terrible story. I mean, and the worst part about it is they think he might have been drinking at the Kansas City Chiefs headquarters, which is not good.
Right.
Especially if someone knew about it. It makes it really not good.
I do feel that would change the dynamics of things, wouldn't this? I mean, look, our social media, and I agree with what our social media is saying. I hate to say it, but he deserves the consequences, right? It doesn't matter who you are, who your father is.
He's not a first-time offender.
You
That's the
have to
problem.
pay your dues, right? If you have to get in trouble just to where if you were drinking and driving, I was drinking and driving, and I did this, I would have to get in trouble for it. But DMAC, would it change things if it was that he was drinking at the team facility?
Well,
or were they
absolutely.
having a party? Were they?
No.
I mean,
Like
this is still the big
Matt
question.
said,
Where was he?
here's the question, right? Forget all that, right? Because it's crappy no matter what it is. The question is just like you bring it back to the Deshaun Watson. You don't think the NFL, how powerful? How did this not come out in this situation about where somebody pretty much is in a coma, younger, like it's come this far because, as Matt said, it feels like it's got to go through the NFL, go through the powers of Goodell, the ringer, right? Which this lets me know why the Deshaun Watson and everything else is like it might say this is the way it is, but at the end of the day, right? Things don't happen without them doing it. Now, as far as I mean, it's just a crappy situation to begin with, but if somebody knew about it, if he was drinking there or whatever, then there's accountability to be had, and I think that's what you followed out. It sucks. It's shitty for everybody, but you know what? You do the crime, you got to do the time.
The good news is the young girl is getting better by the day, which is wonderful. I don't know the extent of her injuries anymore. I know they do say she has suffered some type of brain damage, but she is doing better every day, which is great.
They had organized a GoFundMe page for Ariel, and it's heartbreaking to see this little girl's beautiful face, and then you see her, and she just looks like she's got so much, like a child.
It's a sin.
It's a child. When you look at a child, just a happy, happy-go-lucky child, so much innocence behind these eyes and this face, and then you see her
Never
with
rooted
a
for the
bunch
Lions
of,
a day in her life. You know, that's why she's feeling so much.
Never rooted for the
You know, if you don't have that pressure on you, you can always look a little bit better.
You're right. You're right. You're always going to sleep with a clean conscience. But, you know, so on the GoFundMe page, they've already raised $547,000. Yeah, a little bit over that. And I think it was her Aunt Tiffany who started this page, and her last update came March 27th, where she says Ariel remains in the hospital. She's getting a little better each day, but she still has a long road to recovery. Britt Reed is out every day living his normal life while she cannot. Please don't let her story be forgotten.
He's not having a normal life. I
Court
can
will
tell you
take
that.
a long time, and we don't know what will be the outcome of it all. So please keep sharing her story and praying for her and the family. Thank you.
He's suffering too.
I think so. There's no way that you can just live your normal life and not think about this
he's
girl.
ruined. He's ruined.
Yep, and you know,
Yes.
and his dad too. I mean, it was
and
unfortunate for his dad.
And his brother, you know, Andy Reid's other
awful.
son, was passed away years ago, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was a suicide.
I think that what people need to really remember here is, guys, don't drink and drive. Don't drink and drive. It's an Uber ride home now. I mean, just be smart. Fish, what do you have to say for this? With this?
Enough to say about this. We have Pete on the line. You want to talk to him before or after the break?
Let's go ahead and bring Pete on real quick, right before the break.
Alrighty.
Hi, Pete. Welcome to the show.
He's on.
Hey, Pete.
Hi, guys. I missed. I had a doctor when I didn't call you. Hey, a quick thing about what happened to me in 2005. You remember that home run derby at Comerica Park?
Of course, I was there.
Okay. Do you remember the guy who won the car?
I don't. Was that you?
That was me. That was me and my son Nick.
Oh my gosh! Congratulations.
How'd they give that car away? Did you have to go on a base and find a key? How'd you win the car?
Okay, me and my son were sitting 2 rows behind first base. Okay, and a guy comes up to me and my son and says, "Hey, do you want to be in a contest?" I said, "Sure, no problem." What is it? He goes, "I can't tell you." But he gives me a signed autograph of Cal Ripken Jr., and that's no problem. So, okay, great. So they're playing the game, and the ball gets hit. The guy's still on breaks. I think he hit it. It hit a tarp in the left field. They hit it here. It hits the tarp. All of a sudden, I get a phone call from my daughter. "Dad, you won a car." I go, "I did not." So, okay, whatever. So I hung up on her. And all of a sudden, I hear the announcer, "We got a winner. This section," I go, "Oh my God." "This row," "Oh my God." "This seat," it was me.
Wow.
That's amazing.
What kind of car was it, Pete? And do you still have it?
I do not. It was a Chevy HHR.
Too bad your daughter ruined the surprise.
Oh my God, Pete.
I got rid of it about 8 years ago. I had it for 10 years.
Ah, good for you, man. That's a great memory.
Oh, you look at I see Maz. He was going to offer you. He was going to buy it off you. It's nostalgia right here. Like you said, he collects all the old things. So.
I'll take the Cal Ripken thing you got.
But
I'll
hey,
take that.
See, guys, if you're at the game like Pete, get into the draws or whatever. Pete is proof that it actually.
How about this?
happened.
I'm sitting in right field where the media is, upper deck, right field, good seats right on the front of the upper deck. I'm sitting next to Gator, Scott Gator Anderson. We got a seat. We got a seat between us. Bobby Abreu won that home run derby. He hit I don't remember how many he hit. Guess what? He hit 2 in our section and hit our seat. One went right to Gator. The other one went to the right of him. He got 2 freaking home run balls from the home run derby. I got nothing. I still have not ever gotten a foul ball from a game, ever, or a home run ball, nonetheless.
That sucks. I got 3.
Isn't that something? And the Gator right next to me gets 2 of them. I'll never let him forget that.
You got to fight a little harder if they were there. 2 of them in that section?
2 to him.
Well, where were you?
I was sitting here, seat between him, and then Gator was on the rail. It went to Gator, and then over to the...
Couldn't.
He had it.
I'm not going to put a little effort in because I don't really want the ball.
I
That's
do
what
want
it is,
the ball.
Man. Way to go, Gator. Way to freaking. Yes, he wanted it.
I never let him forget that.
No,
all right, Pete. Thanks for the call, man.
No, wait. Hey, if I win a gift card, can I invite all 3 of you guys to dinner?
Yes.
You're better off to go fill the gift card and we'll have lunch here.
No. I told my wife I want to invite all 3 of you to dinner if I win the gift card. So.
Good luck.
I've been to Lashish, That's a great place. I love it.
It is, man. Thanks for calling, Pete.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. Bye.
Yeah, I almost forgot to wish.
Story.
I almost forgot to wish my two buddies a birthday wish as well.
Wow.
Paul Abramitis, happy birthday to you. He owns the Hideaway Lanes in Almont. Best place you can go to if you want to bowl. And Brandon from the Drew and Mike Show.
Happy birthday,
Brandon's
Brandon.
birthday is today. And it's a great day in April. Beautiful sunny day. So happy birthday to you guys.
All right, guys. When we come back, we're going to be playing a little bit of Me Gusta or No Me Gusta. So keep hitting us up on our social media at Woodward Sports. We're also going to get to some of D-Mac's story time. It's been a minute, but we've got it
You
today.
got the robe?
Nope.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. There's still great stories.
The robe's in the video.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. All right, guys, so don't go anywhere. You're tuning into The Hook on Woodward Sports Network.
Hey, it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys. And ladies, this is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking thorough good boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
Hey, gang, it's Maz for David Hall Financial. When's the last time you checked your interest rate? Well, if it's over 3%, you're paying too much, and you got to call Hall Financial for a free 5-minute mortgage checkup and tell them Woodward Sports sent you, especially tell them The Hook sent you. Hall Financial is fast. They do all the heavy lifting for you. So go to davidhallmortgage.com now to get started. Remember, Hall Financial, lower payments, better options, more personal attention. Tell them Maz and the gang at Woodward Sports sent you.
Welcome back to The Hook on Woodward Sports Network, Detroit's all-digital network, live from MyBookie Studios. All right, guys, it is time for us to get to Me Gusta or No Me Gusta. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. And it's very simple. You can play along on our social media at Woodward Sports. Me gusta means you like the statement, you agree with the statement. No me gusta means you disagree with the statement. Here we go, guys. Chiefs should be punished by the NFL for Reed's DUI is what we call it. You put DWI. DUI. Driving under the influence.
I think it is a DWI this time. I think there's two of them.
Drinking under the influence is and drinking while intoxicated. That's a DWI, which is more serious.
That's the serious one.
There's two different ones.
That's what he charged.
The other
with.
one's a suspicion. That's why it's
Correct.
Okay, so the DWI. D-Mac, ¿te gusta o no te gusta?
Well, obviously with due diligence to figure out if he come from the facility, there's a responsibility whether if he was on the clock or whatever else or what time or if it came from there. There's accountability and responsibility in such a sad situation no matter what happens. And I mean the one thing is if the NFL, we've seen them suspend, set presidents, take away draft picks, do whatever. Just the one thing is that if they do it, if they're consistent. So I'd say me gusta because it seems like that's what Papa Goodell does.
Right.
I agree. Me gusta as well. If they prove it that he was drinking there, he's probably been drinking there a lot, and they probably turn a blind eye to it. Because from what I understand, under his, the previous DUIs, he wasn't allowed to go out past a certain time to go to bars to drink. And when you're in the NFL, you're not leaving at like 7 o'clock at night. You're there to all hours of the night. So the problem is he stayed late. He drove home. It was dark. He was going fast. And he had this accident. So if it is on Chiefs territory, they will pay a hefty price. No question about it.
Easy. ¿Te gusta o no te gusta?
No te gusta. I think he's his own human. He's responsible for his actions. I don't think the team should be held accountable or punished for what he has done. It's on him. Those are decisions he made, not the team.
Right. Fish, ¿te gusta o no te gusta?
I'm going me gusta. He is responsible for his own actions. He can do whatever he wants, but he is part of the team. The only problem is the teams or the NFL's going to find the Chiefs, which is really going to do nothing. So it's not really going to cost the Chiefs anything.
Might cost them a draft pick. You don't know. It depends on what Goodell does.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess so.
It could be.
I was thinking just money.
So,
which is
right.
not really going to cause them any hurt. Oh, here's $50,000.
Right, and I think that money should go directly to the family, the victim's family.
Anything they bring in, they give to charity.
Yeah, you know, so social media is blowing up on this. Me gusta if they can prove he was drinking. Me gusta if he was drinking at work and people knew. If it was a normal company, they could have liability. It should be treated the same. Unless he was in the parking lot, he was having a drink on the clock. So I agree with what social media is saying. I agree with both sides. I agree with Eazy saying I feel that Britt himself should be punished for what he did. He should own up, and it should be his accountability, right? I do think that if they can prove that he was drinking or they were having a party or they were giving him the alcohol.
I mean, it was right before the Super Bowl. I mean,
right.
It's Super Bowl, like the week prior to the Super Bowl.
Days before the Super Bowl. So I think that if in any way the organization facilitated this drinking while on the campus, then I feel that, yes, they should also be in trouble for this.
You know what the kicker is on this? Usually in a regular Super Bowl year, the teams would have been on site for that whole week. Mm-hmm. Instead, they were back at their home territory, and it might have been a different story had it been on the side of the Super Bowl, which was in Tampa Bay this year. So, but they were in Kansas City.
You probably wouldn't have a vehicle to drive.
Correct.
That's very true.
Correct.
Absolutely. You're taking a taxi or Ubering. So, yep, I think that either way, people should be held responsible. You know, I remember when I was bartending in Texas, when I was much younger, we had to take this ABC Alcohol Beverage Commission course in order to serve liquor. And one of the things was if somebody would get into an accident or into any kind of trouble, and they can, from drinking and driving, and they can pinpoint that you overserved them, you would get in trouble as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know how those laws apply statewide. I don't even know if they have those laws. That was like 20 years ago. But I do believe that somebody should be held accountable for that.
On a lighter note, his name is Britt Reed. I'm wondering if Andy Reid was a fan of the Green Hornet, because that is the Green Hornet's name. It's Britt Reed. You know, like Batman is Bruce Wayne, Spider-Man is Peter Parker. This guy was Britt Reed.
Britt Reed.
Just a little side note.
Interesting.
You get a little
Very
little
interesting.
right on the back of the brain. Here you go.
I love it. I love it.
More useless knowledge for you folks.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for all of your interaction on social media. We love it. Keep it coming at Woodward Sports. All right, D-Mac. It is time for a segment that I've missed so much. Let's get to story time.
I love it, Ben. I love it. Yes, it's another edition of Storytime with D-Mac. And since yesterday was the trade deadline, and since Steve Yzerman, the Detroit Red Wings, traded Anthony Mantha for Jacob Verana, Dick Panic, and first and second rounder, I thought, why don't we go into a little story time about trade that I remember when I played for the Wings. And in 1999, as you'll see here on the screen, there was a trade for Chris Cheerios, the Godfather Chelios, who was the captain of the Chicago Blackhawks and hated. And I remember I used to want to kill him because he used to chase Fedorov around and Yzerman around. Traded for Chris Chelios. And then Wendell Clark, who was a former captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, who was a lot of guys like me, who was Rick Tocchet. Wendell Clark was a guy back in the day who always played near at the end of his career. And Ulf Samuelsson, who was probably the second most hated guy at the time, cheap shot guy. He was put in the Lemieux thing. Now, I'm going to start with Ulf, because the best thing with Ulf Samuelsson is through the connection with Barry Smith and Scotty Bowman, because he was part of the Pittsburgh Penguins with Mario Lemieux and those great runs in the early 90s. So when I went over to Sweden in the summers of 95 and 96. The second year I went up to Lexon. That's where Alf Samuelson's from. So 3 years prior to him being traded to Detroit, he actually took me out golfing when I was skating over there in the summertime. So we got to meet each other and got to know each other a little bit. So when he came, you know, unfortunately, it was at the end of his career and he was injured. And then obviously the 99, we know we lost. Now moving over to Wendell Clark, obviously having Wendell Clark, and he used to stand, Maz, known for one of the greatest wrist shots, that he could just stand at the red line and rip him off the crossbar for so much. Another guy who had a bad back, another guy whose career fell short of the injuries, but just to have him around in the dressing room and, you know, to see him this day. But to talk about Chris Chelly, as I've said it along on here, and I will say it, he is the godfather. He's a teammate of teammates, you know, for a guy that played for so many years. And this is, to me, when the hatred from Chicago and Detroit, it's sort of, you know, put the flame down and smoldered it a little bit, like we were talking to our guest Eddie Olcyzk earlier this episode. Chelly, the fact that the biggest villain could actually come to our team and be so endeared and so loved and by the city. Chelly's Chili Bar, you know, like Chelly endeared himself in Dearborn and stuff like that. So we had Chelly's all over, but one of the greatest teammates. And the fact that, you know, this is 99. I played for another 10 years. He played, you know, into his 50s and stuff like that, but we won a couple other cups. And, you know, definitely he was such an integral part in the culture.
How many does he have with the Wings?
2.
He has 2.
Two. 02 and 08. Yeah, so that's he's got 3 because he's got one in Montreal too. So 3 huge guys, and so the young. I remember when the trade happened because the young hockey fan Darren McCarty. You got the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, the captain of the Chicago Blackhawks, and then Alf Samuelsson, who, you know, was a guy that as a forward I'd rather him on your team hitting guys cheaply than you have to go down the wing and get cheaply. So just many of the great teammates that I've had throughout the years, but that's trade deadline time. This is the one that clicked in my mind.
Those are great days, man, when you get to spend any kind of money. And Kenny Holland sure spent Mr. Illich's money, and very happily Mr. Illich said, go ahead and spend it.
Well, it's because we gave him return.
That's right.
Sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. Like this one didn't work until later on. You know, and until later on when it played itself out.
And so close with the Tigers. So close.
It's always sad.
Yep. What could have been with that team.
All right, guys. That was a good one.
Thanks.
That was a good one. I like it. I like it. All right, guys. It is time for us to play Who Ya Like. Tom, you did really well last night, my friend.
I did.
So you get to go first.
I'm doing better, guys. I got 4 in a row, all on baseball. Last night I gave you the Padres and the Yankees. Give the 1.5 runs. They both covered that. So if you bet them straight up, you made some money. If you put them together, you had, like I said, it was a plus 280. So if you put for 100, you made $280. So I hope you made it. Tonight I got the Padres. And Brad Snell, the former Tampa Bay stalwart, should have won Game 7 last year against the Dodgers. They took him out too early. Thank you, Kevin Cash. You're a bum. Padres over the Pittsburgh Pirates tonight. Pirates are horrible. They did win a couple over the weekend. So take the Padres. They're one of the best in the league. Bet them over the Pirates. And then you got Cleveland and Chicago. Best pitching matchup of the year so far. You got Shane Bieber, the Cy Young winner for Cleveland. And you got Lucas Giolito, who threw a no-hitter for the White Sox. 2 excellent pitchers. The over-under is 6.5 on this. You know, Adam with his over-under. So I'm doing an over-under, which I usually don't do. I say this is a 2-1 game. Bet the under on the Cleveland and Chicago White Sox game. Under 6.5 runs. And bet Padres over the Pirates tonight.
All right, there you have it. Hopefully you'll continue your winning streak.
I'm going to keep
it. D-Mac.
I'm going to keep it simple. You go with the guy traded to the Washington Capitals, and you take the home Washington Capitals minus 155. Going to be a tough game against the Philadelphia Flyers, but I think Anthony Mantha not only plays in this game and wins, he also scores.
I like that.
All right. Easy.
I'm looking at the NBA schedule last minute like I always do. I have a feeling from what Matt told us about what was the gentleman's name? The Boom Baby guy?
Oh, that's Slick Watts from Indiana.
Slick Watts. So I'm taking the Pacers. They're
Good for
playing.
you.
They're playing tonight against the Clippers. Then I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna take the Lakers over the Hornets, man. They need to get some W's to stay in the upper echelon of the Western Conference. So give me those two tonight in the NBA.
All right, Easy. Good calls there. All right, Fish, who we got?
Well, I was going to go to Australia, but I last minute changed it over to Europe.
Okay.
I'm going soccer out in Europe.
I like this.
I'm going to pick Manchester City over Dortmund tomorrow. I think they'll win. And then this will be confusing for some people. Liverpool against Real Madrid. I'm going to pick Liverpool to win the game, so your pick is Liverpool.
Okay.
They're not going to advance to the quarterfinals, but they're going to win tomorrow's game.
That's all we need to know.
Slick Leonard, guys. I don't know why I said Slick Watts. It's Slick Leonard. Bobby Slick Leonard. Rest in peace.
All right, guys, that will do it for us. Big thanks to Eddie Olcyzk for joining us and for his little nugget there on known agenda.
For the Derby,
for the Derby,
agenda.
known agenda. Make sure that you are following him to get his official picks, is what he said. So also big thanks to Pete and Kevin for calling in, and huge thanks to everybody on our social media who's been chiming in. We'd love to hear you guys interact with us, or read you guys interact with us at Woodward Sports. For DMAC, for Maz, for Fish, for Easy, for Luke, I am Pilar Lastra. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Good night.